Hi, it's Denise from loomhat.com, and on this video I want to show you how to make a pom-pom, but not this pom-pom. This is a puffy pom-pom, which is very often used. I want to show you how to make one that's more loopy. See? It's very pretty. It looks great and real different on your hats, and you can even use these on your gift. Okay? They look really good and they're really easy, and I'm going to show you a quick way to make them. So get some yarn and your flower loom and some scissors, and let's get started. Okay, so I make my pom-pom using 3 strands, and the reason I do that is because I need at least 9 to 12 rounds on this loom, and so I find that if I use 3, it's about the perfect number. It's not too much, so it's manageable, and it's not 1, so I don't have to go around so many times. If you only use 1, you're gonna have to go around 9 to 12 times. If you use 3, you can divide that into 1/3 of the time, and so that's why I use 3. Okay, but you could use 1 if you like. You start off by making a knot. Right, I don't do slip knots, I just do a basic knot, and you put it here. You don't need a major tail or nothing. In fact, the longer you make it, the harder it is gonna be. It's gonna get in your way, so you can make it pretty short. This actually is longer than I want it. And the way you're gonna start off is by you get your yarn and you're gonna go straight across. Okay, this is just like making those loopy flowers. You're going to come around and you're going to go to the one next to it, right? Come around and go to this one, sorry. You're going to come here, okay? Come around and go to the one next to it and the one peg next to that one and the peg next to the last one you did on this side, and the peg next to the one that you did last on that side. See, all you're doing is finding the last one you did and go to the one next to it, okay, to the right of it, and on this side again to the right of it. See that? That easy. Okay, to the right, to the right. And what I do is I try to keep these up top as I'm working on them, okay? And then when I do a row, then to keep from confusing one row with the other, because then you forget where you left off, I push them all the way down. Okay, this just helps me to know where I'm at. Push, 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 and there you go. They're all the way at the bottom, right? And then I come back to the top, see that? And I do everything again. But it's easier for me to see it if I got the first row on the bottom and the last row on the top. See, I can see it easier, and it might be a little harder for you to see it on camera, but it is a lot easier. Okay, so I want 12, so I'm gonna keep going on this. Maybe I'll only do 9. It really depends on the thickness of your yarn, and then I'm gonna show you how to close them. It's a good idea also, as you're doing this, that when you push them down, make some space in between. You're gonna have to knot this right here, right, this middle, in order to keep them from coming apart. So try to keep them as if they were a flower, you know, all in the middle. It's gonna make tying this a lot easier. Okay, so I'm gonna come back after I've gone around this 2 more times so I can show you how we finish this off. I'll be back. I went around till I had 12, and as you can see, it's all the way up to the top, and I only had to do this, you know, just a couple of times, which is great. So now I'm gonna let my anchor peg knot go. Okay, I undo the knot that easily, and I come here and I cut off a piece. I'm not gonna be knotting that with this, just because I want just one that I can manage easier. So I'm gonna cut this just long enough so that I can get it through here and out here and make a knot with this, and then I don't want to see this one. So I cut about, I don't know, 3 inches here, or 3 or 4. Like I said, just enough to get it to the bottom. Okay, and then I just feed it in between, and that can be a little tricky. Just push it if necessary. Just get your hook, and you can do it that way. And then I get this one and I feed it through a different section. As long as you get it in there and behind, you're okay. All right, so they're on the back. Make sure you pull on them really good and make yourself a knot. Doesn't matter, they're not gonna be seen. Okay, tie them real tight, and okay, you have that there. I'm gonna be cutting these off, so I'm not too concerned about them. Okay, and then you get a string. Now I did this in 3 different colors just so you could see what was going on, but you know, you could just do all in one or make it a little fun. And then get some yarn and thread it through your yarn needle and come in here in between like you would a flower, except you're not trying to decorate. What you're trying to do is secure. Okay, so you're going to leave a string so that you can use it to tie it, and then just come in between. Okay, and you're going to need to make a couple of knots. So I start off with my first one, and I leave a tail so I can use this again to knot, and I make the first knot. If you don't do this right, this will unravel and you'll lose all your work. So try to make sure that you make a nice secure knot. Okay, come back and do the same. I usually do about 4 of them. Okay, you could do more, or you know, whatever you feel comfortable with, but for me that number is 4. Okay, so I'm going to do a few more of them. And I only knot like 3 times. So even if I do 4 of them, I only make a couple of knots. This usually secures your flower really good. So keep going, and every so often, you know, make a knot on the back. And then I'm going to show you how to take it off the loom. All right, I'll be right back. So I finished knotting this. I did it a few more times, I don't know, about 5, and I knotted in the back like this. And you're going to need these 2 strings, because that way you can attach the pom-pom to whatever you're needing. If you want to make it longer because you're going to use it for gift wrap, then just keep that in mind, and maybe make the other one just as long. Okay, that's up to you, that's preference. But at this point, we're done knotting it, and so I take in the back and I cut off that other string so that now I have 2 strings. And I use these mostly for my loom knit hats, so I like to keep these 2 strings. Okay, what's cool about this flower is that the pegs come off, right? Real easy. And so best thing to do is to do, instead of next, across, and that lets the flower loose. And for the pegs that are on there like really hard, it makes things easier, okay? Because as you're knotting things, you're making the work attach itself harder to the peg, and so sometimes the pegs are hard to come off. Okay, but they will come off even if it's a little more difficult. I like doing it this way better. Some people prefer to take a hook, and after you take so many of them off, they just come off. It'll just come off itself. Okay, and then you can either leave it like this flat and that becomes a flower, but you'd have to do this a little nicer, or you could put a button on it and it's nice and thick, or you just puff it up like this. And see, now one thing that I like to do with them is I do starch them a little, because I want it to stay like this, real puffy. So I'll spray a little starch on it, or you can use glue. But see how easy and how cute these pom-poms are. I just love them. They're like really different, and when they're made thick like this, they really look good. So it's better to just put a lot of loops on it. And you don't have to go just with the flower loom. If you want to make them really big, you can use the blue loom, or I think I would stop at the blue loom. And that way you can get a really big one like this. You probably can't go much bigger than that, because the longer the loop gets, the more it wants to just lay down. These tend to stay, you know, standing up and nice and puffy. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next project. Have a good one. See you next time.